sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Your voice is a little bit slow. Okay. Okay. So today we shall start the second unit. And today this is a very important topic we are going to discuss. That is your positivism and post positivism. Positivism and positivism and post positivism. So so are you clear about what is paradigm? Tell me. Hello. Am I audible to you? Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. So please tell me what do you mean by paradigm?
Sir, paradigm means some limitation or
Exactly, it is not limitation actually. I am going to explain a little bit more. Paradigm actually exactly means the
Theoretical framework.
framework or the belief system within which you have to work. Will it be clear to you if I will say in Oriya? Do you understand Oriya or not?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Completely, sir.
All of you, all of
Yes,
you,
sir. Yes, sir.
all of
Yes,
you
sir.
understand Oriya?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
ଗୋଟେ ସାଧାରଣ ଭାଷାରେ କହିବାକୁ ଗଲେ suppose take for example there are two persons. One is standing on the top of the hill and other person is standing on the bottom of the hill. Okay. So both are their respective places. Both are within their own framework, within their own belief system. The person which is on the top of the hill, what he will see, what will observe, or what will come to his mind is definitely different from that of the person who stands at the bottom of the hill. ବୁଝିହେଉଛି? ଦୁଇ ଜଣ ଲୋକ ମନେକର ଜଣେ ପାହାଡ଼ ଉପରେ ଠିଆ ହେଇଛି ଆଉ ଜଣେ ପାହାଡ଼ ତଳେ ଠିଆ ହେଇଛି ହେଲା ତେଣୁ ଆମେ ଏଠି କହିବା ଦେ ଆର୍ ଇନ୍ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ପାରାଡାଇମ୍ସ ଇଏ ଗୋଟେ ପାରାଡାଇମରେ ଅଛି ୟାର ଗୋଟେ ଫ୍ରେମୱାର୍କ ଅଛି ସେ ଫ୍ରେମୱାର୍କ ଭିତରେ ଯେତିକି ଏରିଆ ଆସୁଛି ତାକୁ ଯାହା ନଜର ଆସୁଛି ପାଖାପାଖି ସେଗୁଡ଼ା ସେ ଦେଖୁଛି ଯିଏ ବଟମ୍ ଅଫ୍ ଦ ହିଲ୍ରେ ରହିଛି ସିଏ ତା ଆଖି ଆଗରେ ଯେତେ ଏରିଆ ଦେଖାଯାଉଛି ଯାହା ଦେଖାଯାଉଛି ସେଇଟାକୁ ସିଏ ଦେଖୁଛି ତେଣୁ the person A is on a different paradigm than the person B. So paradigm means a given framework or the belief system within which you have to work. ଯିଏ ତଳେ ଠିଆ ହେଇଛି ପାହାଡ଼ ତଳେ ସିଏ କୋଉ ଏଥିରେ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ କରିବ କେତେ ଆସିବ ତାର ପାରାଡାଇମ୍ ଭିତରେ ବା ତାର ଫ୍ରେମୱାର୍କ ଭିତରେ ଯେତିକି ନଜର ଆସୁଛି ସେ ତାରି ଭିତରେ ଅବଜର୍ଭ କରିବ ଆଉ ଯିଏ ଉପରେ ଠିଆ ହେଇଛି ସିଏ ତଳ ଯେତିକି ଦେଖାଯାଉଛି ସେଇଟାକୁ ସେ କରିପାରିବନି ସେ ତାକୁ ଯେତିକି ଦେଖାଯାଉଛି ସେଇଟାକୁ କରିବ ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ଆମେ କହିବା ଦେ ଆର୍ ଇନ୍ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ପାରାଡାଇମ୍ସ ଓକେ ଇଜ୍ ଇଟ୍ କ୍ଲିୟର so
Yes, sir.
today we shall discuss about positivism and post positivism actually what is the meaning of positivism positivism କହିଲେ କ'ଣ ବୁଝୁଛ what comes to your mind if you hear the word positivism then what comes to your mind Actually, positivism is construed actually more broadly as a way of looking at the world from the vantage point of scientific method. You can say positivism purely uh, aims at the scientific method, or you can say the objectivity. Science, positivism ମାନେ science ଯୋଉଟା ଚାହୁଁଛି, science believes in observation, objective, quantitative measurement. These are all scientific methods. Acha, tell me, before going to discuss the other portion of this unit, tell me, do you remember what is inductivism and deductivism? Induction, deduction. Are you clear about that? Induction and deduction?
Yes, sir.
Tell me. Induction means, please remember, these are
Induction means particular to general, or deduction means general to particular.
general to particular. Induction means particular to general. So induction actually emphasizes deriving general theories or principles from specific observations. Take for example, suppose you see a crow. Crow is black, and you see the second crow, and you say it is also black, and you see the third crow, it is also black. Then you are taking the individual observation, specific observation. गोटे काउ देखल कला, द्वितीय काउटा कला, तृतीय काउटा कला, चतुर्थ काउटा कला, ताहले तमे सेट गोटे जनरल तमे थ्योरी नहीं पारियो मु जते काउ देखलिनी सब कला, so all crows are black. That means you are you have generalized by taking a specific observation, not that you have seen all the crows in the world. पृथ्वी जेते काउ अच्छी तुम सब देखिन, किंतु तुम केतेटा 5टा कि 6टा कि 10टा कि 20टा, पृथ्वी कोटिए काउ थिबे कि 50 लाख काउ थिबे, तुम सब देखिन. तेणु इज इट ऑलवेज ट्रू? तेणु विल साइंस बिलीव इट? साइंस एटा को बिलीव करिवो कि
No.
the observations, the fact, or the conclusion which you derive from specific observations and you generalize theory, science will never believe it because you have not gone through or you have not seen all the crows. Probably you can say, probably all the crows are black, but with certainty, with surety, you cannot say all the crows are black. तमरो 11th पर्यंत तुम देखिछ 12th क्रोटा व्हाइट ही पारे, माइट बी. तेणु जो इंडक्टिव रु आम जेनरालाइजेशन करुचे सेठी तमरो सर्टेनिटी रहुनी. देयर इज नो क्वेश्चन ऑफ सर्टेनिटी. वी आर यूजिंग ए वर्ड दैट इज प्रोबेबली. So scientific method, you can give 100% surety that happens. What you will see, what you will observe, how can it be measured, what are the rules, and what are the set of rules or guidelines, what is the formula. Take for example, that means in that case you don't have any choice. You cannot apply your mind. You are not able to innovate. Whatever is there, what formula is there, you have to calculate with that method. Whatever set of rules are there, you have to go within that. Suppose, take for example, I am giving one example. Suppose 429 into suppose 429 into 429. So you know the formula. Actually you will calculate the general for what you have done in your school. केमिति calculation करिवो 429, or if you take the square of 429, तुमको 429 into 429, then you will calculate in this manner. Then likewise you will multiply 2 into all these things, then you multiply 4, then you will write here and you will get the answer. Is not it? Is not it? But there are also other methods, easy methods, shortcut methods by which you can find out the result. Is not it? Is not it?
Yes, sir.
Tell
Yes,
me.
sir.
Yes. There are also a lot of things have been developed, and you can also apply your common sense, you can apply your mind also, and you can find out a shortcut method to find out the result within less time. ଏଠି ଯେତିକି ସମୟ ତମକୁ ଲାଗିବ ଆହୁରି କମ
Yes,
ସମୟ
sir. If
କରିପାରିବ.
we consider 400 into 400 and 29 into 29, it will be easier
Yes, yes,
rather than taking whole.
yes. So within less time you can calculate and get the answer conclusion. But actually, whatever the positivism or scientific method says that you have to calculate within the set of rules or guidelines, and you should not go beyond that. You are not free to apply your common sense, mind, or whatever you think. You cannot take the judgment of your own. So that is actually the scientific method. So now you know what is inductivism and deductivism. Deductivism means testing existing theories or hypotheses from general premises. General premises रे जहाँ अच्छी नियम कानून ସେଇଟା को आनिकरी आमे individual बा specific गोटे वर्क रे लगेगा. That is called deductivism. So I have also give you the example of induction, observing that every swan you have seen is white and concluding that all swans are white. This is the example of deduction. Induction, sorry, the induction. And also knowing that all dogs are, take for example, take for what is deduction? Deduction. Can you give me one example? Suppose you know that all dogs are mammals and the puddles are dogs. And you can say that from that you can conclude that all puddles are mammals. That means taking the general theory, you can come to a specific observation. But induction, from specific observation to general theory. So positivist theory is a philosophical paradigm, and it has been given by Auguste Comte, a French philosopher and mathematician. The doctrine of philosophy of positivism was given by French philosopher Auguste Comte. So I'm giving you another example. Take for example, so in science actually or positivism believes in whatever is there, you have to accept it. Take for example, the primary idea behind positives. Take for example, so far as criminology is concerned. Suppose they believe criminals are born as such and not made into criminals. They say that the nature of the person is just like criminal. They believe that it is there. Whatever is there, you have to believe, and it is not man-made. According to them, there should not be any human intervention. It is a set of rules. It is the law of nature. It is a guideline. You cannot change it. So according to them, the criminology positivism, take for example, they say criminals are born as such and not made into criminals. It is the nature of the person. So they cannot be made criminals. Their nature is like that, so they are born as criminals. This is the idea or primary idea behind the positivist or the theory of positivism. So mainly you remember positivism is mainly based on three things. You remember positivism is mainly based on three things, or scientific method is based on three things. One is empirical evidence. One minute. Remember, these are the three important things on which the scientific method or positivism is based. So please remember, positivism mainly refers to the scientific method or which is based on the empirical evidence. Unless you get or you are sure empirically if it is not correct, then you cannot believe. It cannot be called as positivism. Scientific observation. Without observing the matter scientifically, you cannot accept it under positivism. Then there must be certain logical reasoning. Okay. So Auguste Comte, remember, is the father of positivism. He is the founder of sociology. So according to them, or according to Auguste Comte, observation plus experiment is equal to truth. If there is no experiment, you only observe, then that cannot be truth. According to the positivism or positivist theory, observation plus experiment is equal to truth. And in scientific method or positivism, they avoid metaphysical speculation. Because normally, we people, what we do, whatever we do, or in our day to day life, or in every act of our life, we do not always do things basing on observation or experiment. And there are people, those who believe in God, those who believe in religion. So there is no objectivity here. Suppose the nature of God, freedom, immortality of soul, all these things are not based on scientific method or logical reasoning. Nobody has seen God, nobody has seen ghost, and nobody knows whether the soul remains mortal or immortal. So these are the things which do not have any logical reasoning, which do not have any sort of scientific measurement. So therefore, these things do not come under positivism. So they clearly denounce the uh, metaphysical concepts. Metaphysical means this is called metaphysical because which is not based on scientific observation or method. So only those objects or events that can experimented are objectively true. ଯୋଉଟାକ ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟ ହେଇପାରିବ ଯୋଉ ଅବଜେକ୍ଟ ବା ଇଭେଣ୍ଟ ତାକୁ ଆମେ କହିବା ସେଗୁଡ଼ା ଠିକ୍ କିନ୍ତୁ ମେଟାଫିଜିକାଲ ସ୍ପେକୁଲେସନ୍ ଯେଉଁଟା ମୁଁ କହିଲି ଦ ଏକ୍ଜିଷ୍ଟେନ୍ସ ଅଫ୍ ଗଡ୍ ଦ ଇମୋର୍ଟାଲିଟି ଅଫ୍ ସୋଲ୍ your freedom your religion your love and affection. So according to them actually suppose you take for example heart beating ତମେ suppose ତମେ ଜଣେ କହୁଛ ଯେ ମତେ ବଡ଼ କଷ୍ଟ ହେଲା କି ମତେ ହୃଦୟକୁ ବାଧିଲା no such emotions no such feeling is there in case of positivism feeling emotion କିଛି ନାହିଁ heart ସେମାନେ ଦେଖିବେ ଯେ heart କେତେ ଥର beat କରୁଛି they do not concept the emotional aspect of heart ହୃଦୟର ଯୋଉ ଇମୋସନାଲ ଆସ୍ପେକ୍ଟଟା ଅଛି କାହାକୁ କଷ୍ଟ ହେଲା ମୋ ହୃଦୟକୁ କଷ୍ଟ ହେଲା ମତେ ବାଧିଲା ବେଶୀ ଯୋଉଟାକୁ ଆମେ କହୁଛେ ସେଇଟା ମେଟାଫିଜିକାଲ ଜିନିଷ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଜ କଲ୍ଡ ମେଟାଫିଜିକାଲ and that has no place in case of your positivism ବା scientific method ସେମାନେ କହିବେ ହାର୍ଟଟାର କେତେ ସେପ୍ କେତେ ସାଇଜ୍ କେତେ ଥର ବିଟ୍ କରୁଛି ହାର୍ଟ they can consider from that aspect because this is observation plus experiment they call it as a truth. But when you say that ଆମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ କହୁଛୁ ଆମ ହୃଦୟକୁ ବେଶୀ ବାଧିଲା ବା ମତେ ଭାରି କଷ୍ଟ ହେଲା suppose somebody talks ill of you or somebody scolds you then definitely you said that I am feeling bad ବା ମୋ ହାର୍ଟକୁ ବାଧିଲା ହାର୍ଟକୁ ଛୁଇଁଲା there is no such feeling in case of positivism ସେମିତି କୌଣସି ଫିଲିଂ ନାହିଁ ଯେ ମୋ ହୃଦୟକୁ ଛୁଇଁଲା ହାର୍ଟକୁ ଛୁଇଁଲା this is purely metaphysical this is purely emotional it has no logical reasoning it has no scientific measurement and it has no actually your objectivity यार କିଛି ନାହିଁ so another Anatole Rapport actually who supports with the supporter of this positivism you remember the father of positivism you can say and here we can talk of Anatole Rapport. According to him, if a positivist sees a black sheep in the meadow, she will not say there is a black sheep in the meadow. She will say, I see a sheep in the meadow and side of which is black. What do you mean by that? ସେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି actually ସେ ତ he is a supporter, he is the positivist, he is a positivist. ସେ କହିଲେ ଯଦି ତମେ ଦୂର ଗୋଟେ ଜଙ୍ଗଲ ଆଗରେ ଗୋଟେ ଦେଖୁଛ ଯେ ଗୋଟେ ତମେ ସପୋଜ ୟୁ ସି ଏ ସିପ୍ ଗୋଟେ ଛେଳି ବା ମେଣ୍ଢା ଦେଖିଲ ବା ଗୋଟେ କଳା ଦେଖିଲ ଗୋଟେ ବ୍ଲାକ୍ ସିପ୍ ଦେଖିଲ ସପୋଜ ୟୁ ଏ ବ୍ଲାକ୍ ସିପ୍ ଇନ୍ ଦ ମିଡୋ ଗୋଟେ ବୁଦାମୂଳେ ବି ଜଙ୍ଗଲ ପାଖରେ ବି ଆଗରୁ ଗୋଟେ ଦେଖିଲ ଦେନ୍ according to see they will say I see a sheep in the meadow one side of which is black ମାନେ ଦେ ଆର୍ ନଟ୍ ସିଓର ଯେ ଆରବ ସାଇଡ୍ଟା ବ୍ଲାକ୍ ହବ ହେଇଥିବ ବୋଲି ସେମାନେ କହିବେନି ଦେ ଆର୍ ରିଲକ୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ଟୁ ସେ ଦ ଅଦର ସାଇଡ୍ ଅଫ୍ ଦ ସିପ୍ ମଷ୍ଟ ବି ବ୍ଲାକ୍ ତମେ ଗୋଟେ ଦେଖୁଛ ଗୋଟେ କଳା ମେଣ୍ଢା ଏପଟୁ ଦେଖୁଛ ଗୋଟେ ପଟ ସାଇଡ୍ରୁ ଦେଖୁଛ ଆର ପଟ ସେପଟେ ବୁଦାମୂଳେ ଅଛି ତେଣୁ ଇଫ୍ ୟୁ ଆସ୍କ ଏ positivist then he will say that one side of the sheep is black they will say they will not say that the sheep is black. So likewise, so they believe in data science, scientific laws. So according to them, law of buoyancy, Newton's law, or you can say Einstein, the scientists, the law which have been formulated by these scientists, or you can say the law of buoyancy can be publicly observed.
So, sir, basically, they are believed in observation and laws of science, and they believe what the actions do, not we feel.
But they actually believe in the observations, experiments, measurement, all these things. They completely denounce the metaphysical aspect of an object. They see the object from that point of view, scientific point of view. ସେମାନେ ଯେକୌଣସି ଅବଜେକ୍ଟଟାକୁ ସେମାନେ ସେଇଟା ଦେଖିବେ ଅବଜର୍ଭ କରିବେ ଫ୍ରମ୍ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ପଏଣ୍ଟ ଅଫ୍ ଭ୍ୟୁ आमे जो इमोशनली कहे ये केते सुंदर केते नरम से दैट इज नॉट देयर योर फीलिंग योर इमोशन नथिंग इज देयर तेणु जो जिनस गुड़ाक जो थे ऑब्जेक्टिविटी थी एक्सपेरिमेंट हो पार तुम ऑब्जर्वेशन समस्ते से देखिकी जानी पारुथिबे तेणु so we have to science has to ascribe the suppose they have to find out the cause what is the reason behind it I mean suppose there is a flood there is a earthquake these are the natural calamities आमे कहूचे दे these are the creation of God भगवान देला भूमिकंप होइला भगवान कहले कि बन्या बा बात्या हला भगवान को सृष्टि आमे जो बिलीव करूचे द बिलीव्स व्हिच वी हैव द फ्लड द नेचुरल कैलामिटीज or the earthquake like that these are the creation of God but they do not believe they have to ascribe the reasons for the flood for the earthquake or whatever happens they have to find out the reason and they have to prove that it happens due to this they will never believe that it is created by somebody else supernatural power or anything so they will never believe it so actually Comte focused on formulation of theories and universality of laws and principles and according to them observation experiment comparison you remember observation experiment comparison remember theological metaphysical all these things are not there in scientific observation theological माने जोटा तुम भगवान को ऊपर जोटा विश्वास कर जोटा मेटाफिजिकल जोटा हमरो इमोशनल सेंटिमेंट जोटा हम चिंता करछे all these things are not there in positivism so actually whatever they say we cannot accept it as 100% correct you know always when there is a theory when there is a law or when there is any sort of findings by any philosopher or scientist or you can say economist always there are certain criticisms critics are there they say that actually this is not universally accepted by all whatever the positivists have given or their belief their theory is not being universally accepted by all so there are also critics those who do not accept they do not accept actually this positivism so according to them phenomenalists contended that facts never fall from sky but develop in a particular context से जो कहउछंती एक्चुअली तो मैथमेटिकल जो से कहउछंती देयर इज ए फ्रेम्ड थ्योरी गोटे आगुर अच्छी सेट ऑफ रूल्स अच्छी से आम जेनरालाइज करवा ताको आम एक्सेप्ट करवा वी कैन नॉट बियॉन्ड दैट किंतु क्रिटिक्स माने कहउछंती को जिंस गोटे स्वर्ग आसीने देयर इज नथिंग व्हिच कम्स फ्रॉम स्काई it must have been developed from certain incidents from certain uh, experiment or from a particular context गोटे डेभलप करिकरी हेइथिबो तेनु हठात गोटे जिनिस से जो कहउचंती दिस इज द सेटा केबे हेइ नथिबो तापर it was also realized that deductive approach is less fruitful in sociology and instead an inductive approach would be more helpful साइंटिफिक टा मेनली कहउचंती डिडक्टिव अप्रोच रु हेइची हमर जनरल टा को हमें आनी के एप्लीकेबल करेबा किंतु इंडक्टिव टा कहउची एक्चुअली जे गोटे आमे पर्टिकुलर जिनिसरु बा स्पेसिफिक जिनिसरु आमे ताको जनरलाइज करिबा फंडामेंटल मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग रियली एथिक्स इमोशंस वैल्यूज ए जिनस गुड़ाक से ना एक्चुअली इन डे टू डे लाइफ आमर जो जिनसटा को आम बेसी यूज करुचे सो क्रिटिसाइज ऑन यूनिवर्सलिज्म व्हिच इज नॉट पॉसिबल इन सोशियोलॉजी से जो कहते जे समस्ते समान सबु जगार से नियमटा लागू हो पार सपोज अमेरिकन इंडियन पीपुल आर डिफरेंट सो यू कैनॉट अप्लाई दैट थिंग व्हिच इज अप्लाई टू द पीपुल इन इंडिया and the people of America, their habits, their culture, and everything, they are different. So you cannot unanimously apply a particular set of rules to all the people. So in this case, specific cases has to be taken first. ପ୍ରଥମେ ଆମେରିକାନ ସେମାନଙ୍କୁ ନେଇ ଷ୍ଟଡି କରିବା, ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନକୁ ଷ୍ଟଡି କରିବା, କିନ୍ତୁ ଗୋଟେ ଜେନେରାଲ ରୁଲ ବା ନିୟମଟାକୁ ଆମେ ଯଦି ସବୁଥିରେ ସେଇଟା ନେଇକି ଆପ୍ଲାଏ କରିବା, ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ୱିଲ୍ ନଟ୍ ବି ଇଫେକ୍ଟିଭ। सो सोशियोलॉजिकल थियोरी जो रेशियल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट साइंटिफिक जो मार्क्सिज्म से कहते ऑल दीज थिंग्स हैव डेवलप्ड व्हिच कैनॉट बी मेजर्ड इन साइंस but actually that prevails in the society. So whatever the positivism or the positivists say, actually that does not hold good in all the cases. So they are the critics, they do not support the positivism which have been given by Comte and so many philosophers. So then another, those a group of philosophers, those who come after Comte, they believe in post positivism. ସେମାନଙ୍କୁ ଆମେ ଏଇଟା କହିଲେ ପଜିଟିଭିଜମ ଗଲା, ପୁରା ପିଓରଲି ବେସ୍ଡ ଅନ୍ ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟ, observation, objectivity, and also empirical evidence, scientific observation, logical reasoning. Without these things, they do not believe in anything. There is no place for emotion, sentiment, metaphysical, and your positive feelings, emotion, intuition, behavior of matter, nothing else. They only believe in observation, experiment, and that they say it is truth. Without scientific observation, without empirical evidence, nothing is true. But that theory is being criticized by the post-positivist. So one of the important name is Karl Popper. Karl Popper is one of the leading philosopher who develops the idea of post-positivism. So what is post-positivism? We have to discuss. We'll discuss. So who is Karl Popper? Karl Popper actually an Austrian-born British philosopher. He was born in 1902 and died in 1999. So according to him, he has given the theory of falsification. Falsification. What is the importance or theory of falsification? That we shall discuss. Falsification. So according to them, knowledge evolves from experience of the mind. Then according to him, there is a good science, pseudoscience, falsifiability, critical rationalism, hypothetical deductive method. I shall discuss it one by one. So what is, first of all, the most important concept of Karl Popper is falsifiability. Falsifiability. What is the meaning of falsifiability? Let us discuss. Falsifiability. So what is falsifiability? What is the meaning of falsifiability? This is the most important term given by Karl Popper. So actually falsifiability is a standard of evaluation of scientific theories. he has tried his best to falsify the scientific ମାନେ ଭୁଲ ପ୍ରମାଣିତ କରିବା falsify ମାନେ କ'ଣ false ମାନେ ଭୁଲ ଯାହା କହୁଛ ମିଛ so falsifiability is a standard of evaluation of scientific theories he has evaluated the scientific theories and he has tried to falsify those theories ତାଙ୍କୁ ଭୁଲ ବୋଲି ପ୍ରମାଣିତ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରିଛନ୍ତି that means how positivism does not hold good how he has been able to falsify the theory given by the positivist I have told you there is one inductive method or there is a deductive method so suppose take for example I will say God exists is a statement but according to them according to the post positivist scientific knowledge is provisional scientific knowledge is provisional how it is called provisional means temporary for a stipulated limited time period according to him scientific knowledge suppose take for example in Odisha in a particular region we see that all swans are white suppose we say that all swans are white but that can be falsified by observing a black swan ଯେପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ତମେ ଗୋଟେ କଳା ହଂସ ଦେଖିନ ସେ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଥିଓରିଟା କାମ କରୁଛି ଅଲ୍ ସ୍ୱାନ୍ସ ଆର୍ ବ୍ଲାକ୍ ସରି ହ୍ୱାଇଟ୍ ଦ ମୋମେଣ୍ଟ ୟୁ ସି ଏ ବ୍ଲାକ୍ ସ୍ୱାନ୍ ଗୋଟେ ଯେତେବେଳେ କଳା ହଂସ ଦେଖିଲ ତା ମାନେ ଏ ଥିଓରିଟା ଚାଲିଗଲା ଏ ଥିଓରିର ଆଉ କିଛି ଭ୍ୟାଲିଡିଟି ରହିଲାନି ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ସେ କହିଲେ ଦ ସାଇଣ୍ଟିଫିକ୍ ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟସ୍ are provisional are temporary for a limited period then when it is falsified or it does not hold good then another theory will come up or will be developed तो जेपर्यंत आम गोटे ब्लाक स्वान देखने से पर्यंत आम कहवा जे यहाँ बर्तमान चली से कहते जो साइंस रे बर्तमान एबे नुआ नुआ तापर चली न्यूटन कौन कही ये कही जेपर्यंत तापर आउ कि बाहरी कहीं जानी ना से पर्यंत से थ्योरी चली जेपर्यंत द मोमेंट some other people find out a new thing then that particular theory does not exist or scientific law cease to exist so according to him according to Popper science is capable of being refuted by evidence science is capable of being refuted by suppose we can provide evidence प्रमाण जदि आम देखई पारिबा then we can disapprove we can refute we can denounce the science टाको आम डिनाउंस कर दे पारे जेमति मु कहली वर्तमान आमर समस्ते कहते हंस देखुचे धला जो मुझे कला हंसटा देखीदेली अगेन आई विल बी एबल टू रेफ्यूट दैट साइंस नाई सब हंस धला नुहे कला हंस भी अच्छा तेणु पॉपर इज एक्चुअली से कहले जे द वेरिफिएबिलिटी बट द फॉल्सिबिलिटी जोटा आमर कहउचंती वेरिफिएबिलिटी जोटा कहउचंती साइंटिफिक मेथड the scientific method based on verifiability means verification you need verification while developing scientific theory observation verification but Popper says that you have to show the falsifiability एटा सत्य ना मिछ तुमको सेटा प्रमाण करी देखिया पे पड़िबो तो according to him knowledge we have is of two types आमे जो आम पाखर जो नॉलेज अच्छी आम पाखर जो नॉलेज अच्छी से दुई प्रकार वन इज ऑथेंटिक द नॉलेज व्हिच यू आर हैविंग व्हिच इज ऑथेंटिक दैट मीन्स सर्टेनिटी एंड ट्रूथ दैट मस्ट बी सर्टन दैट मस्ट बी ट्रूथ एंड द नॉलेज व्हिच यू आर हैविंग आल्सो अनऑथेंटिक नॉलेज भी आम पाखर अच्छी बट दोज आर अनसर्टन and there is no truth or you can say that pseudo knowledge pseudo माने बुझी परछो तो pseudo pseudo knowledge বা pseudo science, pseudo মানে সেই false আমি যাও কହୁଛେ, PSUDO, pseudo knowledge বা pseudo science. The knowledge which is authentic, actually knowledge which is authentic is certain truth, knowledge which is not authentic মানে ভুল भी ହେଇ ପାରେ, that is uncertain and that is no truth, and we can call it as pseudo knowledge or pseudo science. So fallibilism according to empirical knowledge gained through inductive approach is not certain. ତେଣୁ ସେ କହିଲେ ଆମ ପାଖରେ ଯୋଉ knowledge ଅଛି, idea ଅଛି, if it is obtained from inductive approach or inductive method is not certain. ମୁଁ ଯୋଉଟା ତମ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ କହିଲି 10ଟା ଆମେ ଦେଖିଛେ ମାନେ କାଉ ଆମେ କହୁଛେ ଯେ ସବୁ କାଉ କଳା, କିନ୍ତୁ 11ଟା ଯଦି କାଉ ଧଳା ହେଇଥିବ ତାର ସେଟା କାମ, ତେଣୁ ଏଇଟା ସର୍ଟେନ ବା ଅଥେଣ୍ଟିକାଲି ଆମେ ଏଇଟା କହିପାରିବା ନାହିଁ। ତେଣୁ falsification according to Popper, rejection of inductive approach, he completely rejects the inductive approach. Inductive approach মানে we cannot come to the conclusion or we cannot generalize a theory from a specific observation. But a specific observation को नेकरी हमें generalize करी परिवानी, सेटा हला inductive. And Popper is the strong critic of this inductive approach, and according to him this is not actually real science. Then falsification using deductive approach or reasoning. Then according to him there are two types of science, one is real science, other is pseudo science. Pseudo science means false science which is not certain and actually where there is no truth. ଆଉ ଯୋଉଟାକ ଆମର କହୁଛେ ଆମେ ଅଥେଣ୍ଟିକ ସାଇନ୍ସ ସେଇଟା ହେଉଛି ସର୍ଟେନ। ଆଚ୍ଛା, ତେଣୁ ତିନିଟା ଜିନିଷ କାହିଁକି, why he rejects inductive approach, inductive approach ଟାକୁ କାହିଁ ସେ ମାନେ ରିଜେକ୍ଟ କରିଛନ୍ତି, we have to give certain explanation on that. ସେ କାହିଁକି କଲେ rejection of inductive approach? Number one, according to Popper, they actually, why it is uncertain, because observations are based on 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10, so there is no certainty. So we cannot say certainly this happens or this is that. We may say probably. After viewing or after observing 10 units or 15 units, if they are same or alike, then you cannot say with 100% guarantee that all other objects might be of same type, may not be also. Second, why inductive approach is not accepted by him, that is, according to him, there is a limited observation and hasty generalization. You take limited number of limited observation, then hasty then hasty generalization, limited observation and hasty generalization. Then take for example, suppose a bus company and sir a number of buses are running by that company. Suppose you pay suppose you travel in that particular bus of that company once, twice, thrice, 4 times. Suppose first time you observed that the bus came late and also reached late, ଡେରିରେ ଆସିଲା, ଡେରିରେ ପହଞ୍ଚିଲା, ଗୋଟେ କମ୍ପାନୀର 100-200 ବସ୍ ଅଛି, ତେଣୁ ତମେ ସେ ବସ୍ରେ ଥରେ ଯାଇଛ, ଶୀଘ୍ର ଡେରି ହେଲା, ଡେରିରେ ପହଞ୍ଚିଲ। The second time also you traveled in that bus and the same thing happened. The bus reached late and came late and also reached late. So after traveling 8 to 10 times in that particular bus, and if you give a general conclusion or if you generalize that all the buses of that company run late, can it be certain? May not be. Some other buses may come in right time or they might reach in the right time. So according to Popper, all inductive evidences are limited. By taking limited observations, by taking limited evidences, then we jump to the conclusion or we arrive at the or hastily we reach the generalization. ଆମେ ତାକୁ general କରିଦେଉଛନ୍ତି. Suppose in Europe countries you say all the swans are white. Europe ରେ ଦେଖିଲ ତମେ suppose you go to Europe and you see that all the swans are white, then you generalize that swans are always white. But when in Australia, suppose you go to Australia and you say the swan is black, then definitely what happens? So taking limited observations, you cannot jump into a conclusion or you cannot generalize the specific observation to a general theory. General theory সেটা করিবা ঠিক নୁହେଁ. So falsification that's using deductive approach. All swans are white. All birds can fly. Start searches birds who cannot fly. Suppose take for example. Let us try to falsify using deductive approach. Falsify means inductive approach रे कौन होची कहली, deductive approach रे कौन होची. Deductive approach, suppose you say all swans are white or all birds can fly. Then in order to falsify this conclusion, this approach, then you have to search for birds who cannot fly. ତମେ ଏଇ ଥିଓରିଟାକୁ ଫଲସିଫାଇ କରିବାକୁ ହେଲେ ତମକୁ ଦେଖିବାକୁ ପଡିବ ଯେ କୋଉ ବାର୍ଡ ଉଡି ପାରୁନି କି କୋଉ ସ୍ୱାନ ଧଳା ନୁହେଁ. The moment you will see, then definitely this will be refuted. The theory will be refuted. ତେଣୁ according to him ଯେ ଫଲସିଫାଇ ଦେଖିବାକୁ କରିବାକୁ ଆମେ କିନ୍ତୁ ଏଥିରେ ଲିମିଟେଡ ଅବଜରଭେସନ ନେଇ କରୁଛେ. ଇଣ୍ଡକ୍ଟିଭ ମେଥଡରେ ଲିମିଟେଡ ଅବଜରଭେସନ ନେଇକି ଜେନେରାଲାଇଜେସନ କରୁଛେ. ଏଥିରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଜେନେରାଲ ହେଇଯାଇଛି ଅଲରେଡି ମନେକର, ଆମେ ତାକୁ ରେଫ୍ୟୁଟ କରିବାକୁ ହେଲେ ଆମକୁ ତାର ଅଲ୍ଟରନେଟିଭଟା ଖୋଜିବା ପାଇଁ ପଡିବ. ତେଣୁ ଆକର୍ଡିଂ ଟୁ ପପର the true scientific method hela deductive method, not inductive method. Inductive method is always subject to criticism because in a world you have only observed a 10% and 20% of the object and you have given the conclusion. But when you are going to deductive method, deductive already it has been given and is applicable, then in order to disapprove it, in order to refute it, you have to see the contradiction. Suppose the bird cannot, all birds will fly. So you have to find a type of bird which does not fly. Then only you can refute this theory. So according to him, inductive observation actually, there are some supporting evidences. ତମେ ଯୋଉ 10ଟା ଦେଖିଲ ଚଢେଇ, ଗୋଟେ ଦେଖିଲ, ଦିଟା ଦେଖିଲ ସ୍ୱାନ, ତିନିଟା ଦେଖିଲ, 10ଟା ଦେଖିଲ, ସବୁଗୁଡା ଧଳା. These are all supporting evidences ତମେ ପାଇଲ, ତାପରେ ତମେ generalize କଲ all swans are ହେଲା. But actually suppose like a student, suppose A is a student of X university, B is a student of X university, C is a student of X university. A is a brilliant student and B is a brilliant student and C is also a brilliant student. Then you can come to a conclusion that all the students of X university are brilliant. And there is a contradictory statement. Then search for contradictory evidences if it is available. So in case of inductive methods, you cannot say because you have taken limited observations. But in case of deductive method, in order to refute it, you have to search for contradictory evidences. ମୁଁ ଯୋଉଟା କହିଲି all birds will fly, ତମକୁ contradictory ଖୋଜିବାକୁ ପଡିବ ଯେ କୋଉ ବାରଟା ଉଡି ପାରୁନି, ତାପରେ then only you can disapprove it. So so why did he actually introduce falsification? Why did he introduce falsification? Hello. हाँ हाँ नहीं नहीं Okay, let us have a 10 minutes break. Okay. Hello, am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Let us have a 10 minutes break and then we shall discuss why did he actually introduce this type of falsification. Whatever falsification, this is very important. When you are going to write about uh, then Popper, Karl Popper, then you have to always, that is the most important word, falsification, theory of falsification. Then why did he introduce falsification? Falsification means he always try to refute or disapprove a particular theory. And how can he falsify? He will falsify by going for contradictory statement, contradictory. And he does not have any belief in inductive method. I have already told you, because it is based on limited observation and it is hasty generalization. Therefore, does not believe. And the deductive method, he has certain belief, and he said that in order to falsify the theory based on deductive method, we have to search for contradictory evidences. In inductive, what happens? There are supporting evidences. ତମେ 10ଟା ଦେଖିକି ହଂସକୁ ଧଳା ଅଛି ବୋଲି ତମେ ନେଇଗଲ ତାପରେ କନକ୍ଲୁଜନ ଯେ ନାଇଁ ସବୁ ହଂସ ଧଳା। କିନ୍ତୁ ଡିଡକ୍ଟିଭ ମେଥଡ ଯୋଉଟା ଅଲରେଡି ହେଇଯାଇଛି ସ୍ପେସିଫିକ ରୁ ଜେନେରାଲାଇଜେସନ, ତାକୁ ରେଫ୍ୟୁଟ କରିବା ପାଇଁ you have to find out the contradictory evidences. All birds fly. Then you have to find out a bird which does not fly. Then only you can contradict or you can refute the theory. So therefore he takes the help of falsify. How can you falsify a theory? So that is the exact explanation of Popper. So after 5 to 10 minutes, then again we'll start. Why did he introduce falsification? And after doing that, then we shall discuss the another scientific revolution by paradigm. What a paradigm shift? Thomas Kuhn. Thomas Kuhn. After this, so let us have a 10 minutes break.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, welcome after the break. Are you there? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Actually, to be very frank with you, actually you can there are, if you know how to display the how to displaying of words, actually ignore जो ମୁଁ ତ ignore MBA ପାସ୍ କରିଛି ଏମିତି ପଢ଼େଇ ପଢ଼େଇ ପିଲାକୁ 25-30 ବର୍ଷ ମୁଁ ନିଜେ MBA ଦେଇ ପାସ୍ କରିଛି ଏ ଯେଉଁ ବହି ଲେଖିଛି ସପୋଜ ସେ ବହି ଭିତରୁ ସେମିତି ଯାଇ ପଢ଼ିଲେ ପରୀକ୍ଷାରେ ତୁମେ କିଛି ଲେଖିପାରିବନି ସୋ ୟୁ ମେକ୍ ଏ ନୋଟ୍ ଅଫ୍ ଇଟ୍ ମୁଁ ଯେଉଁଟା କହୁଛି ଜିନିଷଟା ଭେରି ସିମ୍ପଲ୍ ଜିନିଷଟାକୁ ସେମାନେ ଇଆଡ଼ୁ ସିଆଡ଼ୁ ବୁଲିଆ ବାଙ୍କିକିରି ତାକୁ ଗୁଡ଼ାଏ ଖାଲି ଭର୍ତ୍ତି କରୁଛନ୍ତି କିନ୍ତୁ କେତେ ଗୋଟେ କି ୱାର୍ଡ଼ ଅଛି ଯାହାକୁ ବେସ୍ କରି ପୁରା ସେ ଥିଓରି ବା ସେଇ ଟପିକ୍ଟା ହେଇଛି ଆଣ୍ଡ ଇଫ୍ କେତେ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ ଦେଖ ମୁଁ ଯେଉଁଟା ତୁମକୁ କହିଲି କେତେ ଗୋଟେ ତୁମେ ଯଦି ମନେ ରଖିବ କେତେ ଗୋଟେ ଯେଉଁ କି ୱାର୍ଡ଼ ଗୁଡ଼ା ଲିମିଟେଡ୍ ଅବଜର୍ଭେସନ୍ ଏଇ ଯେଉଁ ହାଷ୍ଟି କନକ୍ଲୁଜନ୍ ଏ ଯେଉଁ ସାଇଣ୍ଟିଫିକ୍ ମେଥଡ଼ ଯେଉଁଟା ଯେଉଁ ପଜିଟିଭିଜିମ୍ ଭିତରେ ମୁଁ ଯେଉଁଟା ଯେତିକି କହିଲି ଆଉ ତୁମର ସେ ଯେଉଁ ସେଇ ଜିନିଷଟା ଯଦି ମନେ ରଖିବ ନିଜେ ଟିକେ ଲାଙ୍ଗୁଏଜ୍ ଦେଇକି ଲେଖିପାରିବ ତେଣୁ ଦେର୍ ୱିଲ୍ ବି ଆବସଲ୍ୟୁଟଲି ଦେର୍ ୱିଲ୍ ବି ନୋ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ୍ ୟୁ ଅଣ୍ଡରଷ୍ଟାଣ୍ଡ ଦ କନସେପ୍ଟ इंडक्टिव कौन बुझीच डिडक्टिव कौन बुझीच तुम पॉजिटिविज्म कौन बुझिल पोस्ट पॉजिटिविज्म कौन से बुझिल से बेसिक जिनसटा से कौन कौन कहते से गोटे जिनसटा को से बारंबार बारंबार बुलेगी एपट सेपट खाली वार्ड को ये करके लिखिं एंड इफ यू अडॉप्ट दैट प्रैक्टिस ना डेफिनेटली यू कैन राइट वेल इन योर एग्जामिनेशन एंड थिंग इज दैट टिके खाली vocabulary and writing practice if you have writing practice and you do have vocabulary then you can easily do well it is purely a theoretical paper एतरे केमती मैथमेटिक्स रो कैलकुलेशन की डायग्राम की कौन सेमती किछि तो नाही ओनली से जिनसटा को एक्सप्लेन करिया कथा बारंबार तेणु किछि असुविधा नहीं तेणु ये जो केते गुडे वर्ड गुडा तो मन रख जोटा की वर्ड से वर्ड गुडा न देले तुम आंसरटा ठीक आसीबनी तेणु से गुड़ाक सबू प्रत्येक यूनिट्र प्रत्येक टपिक्र से गुड़ा मन रख कार्ल पॉपर केतटा मन रखिपर आम जोटा पढ़ा यापर आम पढ़ा थॉमस कुन आउ एटा पॉपर है यहाँ मनकर पोस्ट पॉजिटिविज्म रे जीव आउ पॉजिटिविज्म रे तुम तो फास्ट मुझे जोटा कही पॉजिटिविज्म सेटा हूँ तुम जो से एक्चुअली से चाहूँ जो पॉजिटिविज्म से जो से चाहिए एक्चुअली सोशल फेनोमेनन मे बी स्टडीड यूजिंग साइंटिफिक मेथड्स ताकर भेरी इंटेंशन इज दैट द सोशल एक्चुअली दे आर सोशल साइंटिस्ट से एक्चुअली फिलोसोफर्स दे से दैट मैंने सोशियोलोजी टाक से कहते सोशल फेनोमेना मे बी स्टडीड यूजिंग साइंटिफिक मेथड्स आम जो जिनसटा कही दौचे फैमिली आमर जो लव एंड अफेक्शन आमर जेकोसी जिनस सोसाइटी आम जहाँ करुचे तेणु सहीटा से कहते दैट शुड बी सब्जेक्ट टू ऑब्जर्वेशन एंड दैट शुड बी सब्जेक्ट टू एक्सपेरिमेंट एंड आफ्टर दैट विल गेट द ट्रूथ तेणु से गुड़ाक कहते कि हाउ फार इट इज प्रैक्टिकेबल एंड हाउ फार इट इज ट्रू तेणु दैट नीड्स एम्पिरिकल एविडेंस साइंटिफिक ऑब्जर्वेशन लॉजिकल रीजनिंग ये तीनटा वर्ड मन रखियो तुमर पॉजिटिविज्म रो एम्पिरिकल एविडेंस साइंटिफिक ऑब्जर्वेशन लॉजिकल रीजनिंग आउ तापरे साइंस कौन सुडो साइंस कौन आउ ये जो फल्सिफिएबिलिटी यहाँ जो आसला फल्सिफिएबिलिटी कथा जो फल्सिफिकेशन यहाँ कहले कार्ल पॉपर से कहते वी कैन रेफ्यूट साइंटिफिक थ्योरी इफ यू वांट टू फल्सिफाई इट से कहते इंडक्टिव मेथड रे तो तांकर किसी भरोसा नहीं ही डज नॉट हैव एनी बिलीव फेथ इन इंडक्टिव मेथड और इंडक्टिव अप्रोच बिकॉज फ्रॉम ए स्पेसिफिक ऑब्जर्वेशन specific through we are generalizing we are taking hasty generalization from limited observation so he does not have any faith in inductive he severely vehemently criticized the inductive approach or inductive method according to him it is based on some supporting evidences तमें 10टा 12टा गाई देख लो कि 10टा वर्ष हंस देखिल धला तमें तापर केमिति हाउ कैन यू टेल दैट ऑल स्वान्स आर ब्लैक तुम तो लक्षे हंस थिबे तेणु सी कहते जे इट हैज नो मीनिंग एट ऑल एटार किसी नाही बिकॉज आमे जोटा देखुचे वी हैव नॉट कवर्ड द एंटायर एरिया और द यूनिट आमे केवल 10-15% देखिकी एटा को निया जाउची जोटा कहते इंडक्टिव डिडक्टिव रे आमे जोटा कहते व्हिच इज ऑलरेडी देयर द थ्योरी एंड दैट हैज बीन ସେଇଟା that has to be applied to the in a specific ବା ଅନ୍ୟମାନଙ୍କ କ୍ଷେତ୍ରରେ ଆମେ ଆପ୍ଲାଏ କରିବା ସେଇଟା ସିଏ କହୁଛନ୍ତି how that can be ସେଇଟାକୁ ସିଏ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ତାକୁ ବି ଆମେ ଆପ୍ଲାଏ କରିପାରିବା ଫଲସିଫିକେସନ ତାକୁ ଆମେ ଫଲସିଫିକେସନ ମଧ୍ୟ we can apply to deductive approach how then when we have to ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଆମକୁ କ'ଣ କରିବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିବ we have to search for contradictory evidences ଯେମିତି ମୁଁ କହିଲି all birds fly ତମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଦେଖିବ ଯେ ଗୋଟିଏ ଚଢ଼େଇ ଆଣି ଦେଖିବ ଯେ ଆରେ ଏଇ ଚଢ଼େଇଟା ଆମର ଉଡ଼ୁନି ସେତେବେଳେ ତମର ସେ ଥିଓରିଟା ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଜ୍ ରେଫ୍ୟୁଟେଡ୍ ସେଇଟା କହୁଛନ୍ତି ସେ ଫଲସିଫିକେସନ ମିନ୍ସ ୟୁ ହାଭ୍ ଟୁ ଗୋ ଫର୍ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରାଡିକ୍ଟୋରି evidences if it is available if it is not available then definitely you cannot falsify it and you have to accept that ତେଣୁ इंडक्टिव से कहते जेपर्यंत तुम जदि आउ कौटी से जिनसा किए देखला इमिडिएटली से किसी ये करनी तेणु से तापर आम देखा व्हाई डिड ही इंट्रोड्यूस फॉल्सिफिकेशन व्हाई डिड ही से फॉल्सिफिकेशन माने कहीं ये जो दीटा जिनस से कहले मन रख यू रिमेंबर गोटे हूँ रियल साइंस आ गोटे हूँ सुडो साइंस जोटा मुझे तुमको कही आम जो दीटा आम पाखे जो नॉलेज आम पाखे जो आम रखुचे आम पाखे दीटा जिनस रखुचे आम पाखे जो नॉलेज अच्छी गोटे हूँ आम ऑथेंटिक कहली गोटे हल अनऑथेंटिक ऑथेंटिक माने जोटार ट्रुथ अच्छी सर्टेनिटी अच्छी अनऑथेंटिकटा दैट इज कॉल्ड सूडो नॉलेज सेमिथि देयर आर टू टाइप्स ऑफ साइंस वन इज सूडो साइंस अदर इज रियल साइंस तेणु अकॉर्डिंग टू हिम he wants to differentiate between real science and pseudo science real science जोटा सेटा that will continue से कहते pseudo science जोटा आम नहीं ताको बेस करके मनकर करिए जो जनरलाइजेशन थ्योरी वी हैव जनरलाइज द थ्योरी जो डिडक्टिव मेथड बा तुम जो इंडक्टिव मेथड जोटा जनरलाइज करछे कि जो थ्योरीटा बर्तमान एग्जिस्ट करूची जहाँ को नाई कि आम स्पेसिफिक केस रे ताको अप्लाई करिया सेटा केते गुडे अच्छी जोड़ाक तुमर सुडो माने सेटा तुम जदि तार इवेंटा बा तुमर जदि तार कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी येटा को पाई जीवो एविडेंसेसटा दैट विल बी रेफ्यूटेड एंड दैट इज कॉल्ड सुडो दैट इज कॉल्ड मिछ जोटा कहूचे सेटा किछि दिन में चलिबो तार सेतरे सर्टेनिटी नाही बा ट्रुथ नाही दैट इज कॉल्ड सुडो साइंस जोटा रियल साइंस इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू फाइंड आउट द contradictory evidences सेइथिपाई in order to differentiate between pseudo science and real science he has tried to introduce this falsification method एटा को से falsification method माने he wants to prove something as false जो false टा करिया पई हेले तुमको तारो contradictory evidence ता देखिया पई पड़ियो अच्छा then से कहते जे another thing is that science progresses when some theories are refuted or false and a new theory will come. So when one theory will be repeated, suppose you are able to find out contradictory evidences, then now the theory is refuted. No longer that theory will continue, will exist. Then another new theory will come up with a new idea. with new views nua idea nua view nua inegi onne gote theory asila and that will lead to development in the society se कहउछथि तनु गोटे theory को जत्ते बेले आमे falsify करके ताकू जत्ते बेले हमरो contradictory evidence आगी से theory टा refuted हे गला कंटिन्यू कला नाही again a new theory will come up and that will help in the progress or development of the society ସେଇଟା ହିଁ ତେଣୁ ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ଫଲସିଫିକେସନର ଆବଶ୍ୟକତା ରହିଛି. ଦେୟାର ଇଜ୍ ଏ ନିଡ୍ ଫର୍ ଫଲସିଫାଇଂ ଏ ପର୍ଟିକୁଲାର ଥିଓରି which is continuing nowadays. Then only there is scope for another theory to come up, another people to come forward with another theory. ତେଣୁ ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ likewise new theories will be developed and the society or the you will have progress. ତେଣୁ what are the difference between real science and pseudoscience? Real science is always open to critical testing. Real science is always open to critical science. But pseudoscience always avoid critical testing. Critical testing रे एटा सफल हेई परिबो नाही. Then in the real science there is search for contradictory evidences. So long as you are not able to find out contradictory evidences, real science will not cease to exist. It will continue. It will continue. But what about pseudoscience? Pseudoscience will continue only with only searches supporting evidences. Supporting evidence टाकू नेइकरी एटा केवल चलीची. तेणु if no contradictory evidence is found in the real science, then it is true. But when you are developing your pseudoscience with limited observation and hasty generalization, then definitely there is every possibility that someday definitely it will be refuted. And real science is mainly based on deductive approach. आमे जो कहले deductive approach and pseudoscience is based on inductive approach. You remember this thing. Pseudoscience is based on inductive approach with supporting evidences, limited observations, hasty generalization, and pseudoscience always avoid critical test. But real science always open to critical testing. And if there is search for contradictory evidences, the evidences are not contradictory, then definitely it will continue. So this is about Karl Popper, who is considered as the strong opponent of your positivism, and his analysis, his theory of falsification is known as the post-positivism. After positivism, this is called post-positivity. Remember name Karl Popper. Then another philosopher which believes in scientific revolution, his name is Thomas Kuhn. Thomas Kuhn. Thomas Kuhn. So actually he is an US scientific philosopher, United States, and he believes in scientific revolution. What is scientific revolution? Scientific revolution means through main term ta mane rakhibo, he gives importance to stress on paradigm shift. I have already explained you what is paradigm. Now I will explain you what is paradigm shift. Different observations may be taken at different paradigm. That means in different frameworks or in different belief system. As I had given you example, तमे जो एरिया रे रहो तमे जो सेटा यू आर इन ए पर्टिकुलर पैराडाइम से सही जिनिसटा देखु. सपोज यू आर इन द बैक ऑफ ए बिल्डिंग and suppose your observation, you are in a particular paradigm or you are in a particular particular area. Suppose somebody is in the front of the building, definitely he is in a different paradigm and he is viewing some other things which are not visible to you. So Thomas Kuhn believes in paradigm shift. According to him, there should be any scientific revolution. Science should not continue for a longer period. And how it will continue or there will be revolution, and I will explain you. So Thomas Kuhn actually was born in 1922 and died in 1996. And his epoch-making book, he has written a very important book known as The Structure of Scientific Revolutions, published by Vienna Circle. The structure of,
So can you tell the book name?
yes, The Structure of Scientific Revolutions. The
Yes.
structure of scientific revolutions. Scientific revolutions. In 1962. This is an epoch-making book written by Thomas Kuhn, and where he has clearly specified given importance to paradigm shift. According to him, what is scientific revolution? Then I will tell you, write down, you may write down actually 6 steps. Number one, scientific revolution. Number one, scientific revolution. Number two, paradigm. Paradigm. Number three, paradigm shift. Number three, paradigm shift. You remember these 6 points, then you can easily explain one by one, and that will be your answer. Then, number four, normal science. Normal science. Number five, extraordinary science. Extraordinary science. Then number six, crisis or anomalies. Nomalies. Nomalies.
By Thomas School.
Thomas Kuhn, Kuhn. By Thomas Kuhn. Thomas Kuhn. Thomas Kuhn. You remember, this is otherwise known as the Kuhn cycle. You can take in the form of this. Suppose I will, suppose you can draw like this. It will be easier on your part to remember. One. Suppose first you write your scientific, this is called as your Kuhn cycle. Kuhn cycle. Scientific revolution. Suppose this is scientific revolution. This is your paradigm. This is your paradigm shift. And this is your normal science. This is your extraordinary science. I will explain with the help of example, don't worry. This is your crisis or anomalies. Anomaly. So this is Kuhn cycle. If you remember this, then you can easily explain what is paradigm and what is paradigm shift. Suppose science always Science always works at a particular level. Normal science. Normal science means everywhere there is normal routine work. Science is there are some sort of research work. The science always is there, and people are also doing some sort of scientific research. But here, what actually Thomas Kuhn wants to explain that scientific revolution is there because if certain event, certain incident will be there, then definitely it will be changed. The normal level or the scientific investigation or the scientific work which is continuing at present will take a different step. It will go to another paradigm. Paradigm, do you understand? Gote paradigm जो framework रे काम କରୁଥିଲା, suppose if any sort of abnormal situation comes or any sort of necessity arises, then definitely there will be change, so there will be shift of paradigm shift of paradigm जो sphere रे जो framework रे काम କରୁଥିଲେ ସେଟା ଗୋଟେ ଆଉ ନୂଆ sphere ରେ काम କରିବ. Let me tell you one example. It will be very clear to you. You must have experienced the measurable scene of your COVID. Suppose I will talk of your pre-COVID, then COVID and post-COVID. I will divide it into three phases. Okay? Pre-COVID, COVID ପୂର୍ବରୁ, COVID ରେ ଆଉ post-COVID. Then what was happening actually pre-COVID? Pre-COVID, suppose take for example, there was normal science, is not it? Pre-COVID कौन चली because there was no such exigencies, emergencies, there was no urgency of inventing and life-saving drugs likewise. There was no necessity or urgency of developing your life-saving medicines as it was done by the scientists during the COVID period. So everything was going on normal, or normal scientific research work was being done by the scientists in the laboratories, and that was quite a normal period. That is called pre-COVID period, and you can tell it as a normal science. Okay, normal science means in a particular paradigm, the scientists they were working. But when COVID came, COVID ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆସିଲା କ'ଣ ହେଲା? What happened actually? Then definitely there was need, urgent requirement for life-saving injection or medicine or vaccine to save the lives of the people. Because all were panicked. People were dying in large numbers. So definitely there was a necessity, there was urgency to develop the scientific research work, experiment, and to invent medicines or vaccine to save the lives of the people. That is your COVID period. Then you can say it is a shift of paradigm. जो sphere normal sphere काम करते definitely there was a different shift of paradigm. Out what a framework भितर they have to work day and night. They have to use new type of raw materials, whatever things, chemicals, whatever that might be. They were doing all this. So there is a shift of paradigm. जोटा normal science थिला जोटा shift of paradigm माने shift करिगले. Then normal science कहली, so paradigm shift. Then extraordinary science. What is extraordinary science? Then COVID रे there is shift of paradigm. Then vaccines were invented, and definitely there was a the scientists were able to invent life-saving drugs. Then definitely COVID is there. Now we are not free from COVID. COVID is there, but it has been reduced, and the people are now not affected by the COVID. The COVID viruses are still there in the atmosphere. We cannot deny that. It is 100% free from COVID viruses. COVID viruses are there. Still the research is going on in order to, and besides this, There are also other type of viruses which are also there in the atmosphere, and sometimes also they affect the health life of the people, although they affect the lungs or different parts of the body of the people. So in that situation, there is the need of your extraordinary science. Extraordinary science. Puni again, there will be new development. There should be new development in scientific research. Again, ଆହୁରି ଆଗକୁ ଯାଇକି ଦେଖିବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିବ. Then crisis and anomalism. Anomalism ଯୋଉଟା କହିଲେ anomalies, crisis, and definitely there will be crisis when there will be certain abnormal situation, or so definitely pandemic. In that case, definitely crisis will be there. So from, if you start from this crisis and anomalism due to COVID, then you can see there is scientific revolution. The people who are working in a particular paradigm of the scientist, definitely there will be shift in the paradigm. The scientific experiment will go to higher level, or new type of medicine or the vaccines will be invented. Okay, paradigm shifts. So normal science, extraordinary science. Normal science is there when there is normal situation. When there is any sort of pandemic, any sort of abnormal situation, definitely there will be shift in paradigm. You remember, this is the this is the statement given by Thomas Kuhn. According to him, scientific research always is due to paradigm shift. He says that scientific revolution is always possible due to shift of paradigm. Why there will be shift of paradigm? Paradigm shift may be occurs due to your abnormal situation or any sort of pandemic or any type of situation. Then suppose ମୁଁ ଯେମିତି କହିଲି pre covid, covid ତାପରେ post covid. So actually this is the, so if this continues for some time, then again, if any sort of disturbances is there in the economy or in the country, or any sort of abnormal situation arises, again there will be shift of paradigm. He says that once suppose paradigm will be shifted from time to time, always, and there is no regular interval. Paradigm ଅଛି ଏଇଟା 6 ମାସରେ ସେଠିକି ଯିବ, ଆଉ 8 ମାସରେ ସେମିତି ନାହିଁ. Paradigm ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ paradigm shift କରିବ. Definitely there is improvement in the scientific knowledge, there will be scientific revolution, or there will be development in scientific research. When you move from one paradigm to another paradigm, again, if any abnormal situation arises, then definitely there will be shift of paradigm. Then when there is a shift of paradigm, there is always possibility or scope for scientific revolution. So in this way, scientific revolution will be there in the country. And actually, this is the uh, theory given by Thomas Kuhn. And so far as the, so you do you remember actually what is the difference between what Karl Popper actually says and your Thomas Kuhn says? The structure of scientific revolution. Now, the very book name suggests the structure of scientific revolution. What is the structure of scientific revolution? ତେଣୁ it is a logical positivist actually. He says that due to this will be possible. So, in order to avoid crisis and anomalies in the economy, there is the need for shift of paradigm. Crisis anomalies टाକୁ दूर करिया ପାଇଁ paradigm shift ଟା ନିହାତି ଦରକାର. ତେଣୁ paradigm shift ଯେତେବେଳେ ହବ, ନିଶ୍ଚିତ ଭାବରେ scientific revolution ହବ. And otherwise, in normal condition, normal sense, there is scientific, there is only normal science. Normal science ରୁ extraordinary science କୁ ଯିବ, ତାପରେ scientific revolution ଆସିବ. नॉर्मल साइंस तापर एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी साइंस तापर जाके आसो साइंटिफिक रिवोल्यूशन सो so far as your this unit you have to write actually these are two important questions Karl Popper tinta question hobo tomar ethru long question will be three long questions what is positivism you always you know the term inductive and deductive and the mainly there will be three important questions first question will be what is positivism and what is Auguste Comte question will be like this first what do you mean by positivism or what is positivist philosophy of science and um, and how Auguste Comte explain Auguste Comte explain the philosophy of positivism. How Auguste Comte explained the philosophy of positivism. What do you mean by positivism? You can write, or what do you mean by positivist philosophy of science? And how did Auguste Comte examine the philosophy of positivism? This is one question. Then second question is, and then you can write another question might be there. Your the attack on positivism, or what are the criticisms of your positivism? What are the criticisms of positivism? Then next question, critically examine theory of falsifiability by Popper. Sorry, examine the falsifiability theory of Karl Popper. Examine the falsifiability theory of Karl Popper. Then, so you have to give some examples. You remember certain keywords. Take for example, you may write these keywords while writing your answer of your positivism. Positivism এই তিনটা তো word I have told you মনে রাখিব যেতବେଳେ লেখিব Auguste Comte you have to mention these three words empirical evidence his theory is purely based on empirical evidence scientific observation logical reasoning ହେଲା according to him valid information is only provided by observed phenomena observed phenomena নহলে সে কହୁଛନ୍ତି information whatever you get is not valid unless you have observed the phenomena তুমি যদি নিজে অবজর্ভ করি না হো তাহলে যে ইনফরমেশন তুমি পাইবো that is not valid according to Auguste Comte এটা so he says that it must be based on empirical evidence scientific observation and logical reasoning and ତାଙ୍କର ପ୍ରିନ୍ସିପଲ ହେଲା purely principle of nature and science principle of nature and science then Karl Popper's philosophy of science. You may write examine the Karl Popper's philosophy of science, or you can say critically examine the falsifiability theory of Karl Popper. Then while writing Karl Popper, you have to write certain things. What is the theory of importance of falsification? What do you mean by or that post-positivism? This is called post-positivism. The critics, those who uh, went against the Comte's theory of positivism, they are known as post-positivism, which does not rely upon the scientific method or empirical evidence or observation. And mainly Popper has distinguished between the two approaches. One is inductive, other is deductive. Inductive approach, he does not have faith in inductive approach because it has been derived from particular to general. Because you have taken very limited observation and your hasty generalization, you have not observed all the persons or birds, whatever things you take, then definitely he does not have faith. So he wants to falsify it. And he has certain belief in deductive method or deductive approach. So according to him, the theory of falsification can also be applied to deductive approach. Suppose I have given you some example. True scientific method. According to him, deductive method is a true scientific method, not inductive method. Then he says that the theory of falsification can also be applied to this deductive method when you are searching and contradictory evidences. Contradictory evidence ଯଦି ତମେ ପାଇଯିବ, ମୁଁ ଯେମିତି କହିଲି all birds fly, all birds fly, ତମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଖୋଜି ଆଣିବ ଯେ ବାର୍ଡ ଏଇଟା ଉଡ଼ି ପାରୁନି, ସେତେବେଳେ ତମେ କହିପାରିବ then it is refuted. It is not true. It is a pseudo science. Real science କ'ଣ? ଯୋଉଟା କି subject to testing, critical testing. Pseudo science ଟା is not open to critical testing. Pseudoscience may be proved, may be falsified. If you get, suppose 10ଟା ଧଳା ହଂସ ଦେଖିଛୁ, ଯେତେବେଳେ 11ଟା ଦେଖୁଛ ହଂସଟା କଳା, ସେଇଠି ତମର ଫଲସିଫାଏ ହେଇଗଲା। ତେଣୁ ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ କଲ୍ଡ ସୁଡୋ ସାଇନ୍ସ। ତେଣୁ ଏଇଟାକୁ କରିହବନି। କିନ୍ତୁ ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ଭେରି ଡିଫିକଲ୍ଟ ଟୁ ଫାଇଣ୍ଡ ଆଉଟ୍ ଏ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରାଡିକ୍ଟୋରି ଏଭିଡେନ୍ସେସ୍ ବିକଜ ଡିଡକ୍ଟିଭ ମେଥଡ। ତେଣୁ ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ଏଇଟା suppose you can take so many examples. Suppose you are traveling in a bus, I have told you. Suppose you are having personal equipment and you have gone in 10 buses of a particular company and the same problem you find. There is a late in coming and late in arriving. Then you to conclude that the all buses of this company run late. But that may not be true. Or you may say that a student of among X university, A is a student of X university, B is a student, C is a student of. So you may opine that all the students of X university are brilliant. So these are all instances which have been generalized from a specific observation on supporting views, supporting observations. So supporting it has no base at least. But once it is established, the generalization has been done in deductive method, then you have to falsify it. You have to search for contradictory evidences. ତମେ ଓଲଟାଟା ଦେଖିବ, ଏଇଟା ଏଇଆ ହେଇଛି, କୋଉଟା ଉଡୁନି, ତାହେଲେ ତମେ ଦେଖିବ ଓଲଟାଟା ଦେଖିବ, ଫଲ୍ସ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଦେଖିବ, ଆରେ କୋଉଟା ଏଟା ପାଉନି। ତମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଦେଖିବ 10ଟା ଇଟା ଭଲ ଅଛି, ତମେ ଜଣକ 10ଟା ଇଟା ଭଲ, ତମେ ଖୋଜିବ ସବୁବେଳେ ଯେ କୋଉଥିରୁ ଗୋଟେ ଖରାପ ଥିବ କି, ଯୋଉଟା ଖରାପ ପାଇଲା ପରେ ନାଇଁ ନାଇଁ ଏଗୁଡ଼ା ସବୁ ଭୁଲ ଅଛି। ତେଣୁ ଏକ୍ଜାକ୍ଟଲି ଇନ୍ ଦ ସେମ୍ ମ୍ୟାନର ଦିସ୍ ଇଜ୍ ଡନ୍। ତାପରେ ଏଇଟା ତମେ ଲେଖିବ, ଗୋଟେ ୟାଙ୍କର ଗୋଟେ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ହେଲା, ତାପରେ ହ୍ୱାଇ ଡିଡ୍ ହି ଇଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଡ୍ୟୁସ୍ ଫଲ୍ସିଫିକେସନ୍, ସେଇଥି ଭିତରେ ଲେଖିବ what is actually theory of falsification by Popper and why did he introduce falsification, ଏଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ଲେଖିବ। ତାପରେ ଥମାସ କୁନ୍, what is paradigm shift, how Thomas Kuhn has explained paradigm shift as a process of scientific revolution. Paradigm shift ରେ କେମିତି scientific revolution ହବ, that can be explained by तेणु 3टा जिनस आम आज पढ़ले मन रख से टिके खाली जाइए तुम से वर्ड गुड़ा रिमेम्बर यू नीड नॉट रिमेम्बर द सेंटेंस गुड़ा जहाँ बही से मन रखिए तेणु ये जो मेटाफिजिक्स गोटे वर्ड देती मेटाफिजिक्स माने तुम बुझा दरकार डज गॉड एग्जिस्ट इट्स ए क्वेश्चन इज देयर एनी सोल ये जो जिनसा आम कहे तेणु सी जो कंक्रीट सेन्स नौ ऑब्जेक्टिविटी सेन्स नौ पॉजिटिविज्म जोटा पॉजिटिविस्टा आमर जो जिनसा मेटाफिजिक्स से आमर अलग सेन्स नौ आम जोटा फीलिंग्स इमोशंस गॉड एग्जिस्ट वेदर घोस्ट्स एग्जिस्ट और नॉट भूत अच्छी ना नहीं भगवान अच्छा ना नहीं आउ ए जो जिनसा आम जोटा कहे क्वालिटेटिव आस्पेक्ट जिनस गुड़ाक व्हिच इज तुम देखिछ कि तुम देख गोटे ऑब्जेक्ट देखुच हाँ यहाँ गोटे पत्थर अच्छी 5 केजी पत्थर गोल पत्थरटे अच्छी तुम देखुच तुमको जब कौन देख मुझे भूत अच्छी कहीं हरी भूत कहीं कौटी अच्छी भगवान अच्छा भगवान कौटी अच्छा हु कैन प्रूव दैट गॉड एग्जिस्ट इज देयर सोल आत्मा अच्छी ना नहीं कौन विषय देखिपर देयर इज नो ऑब्जेक्टिविटी देयर यू कैन नॉट ऑब्जर्व इट यू मे फील इट तुम भगवान भक्त भगवान को मन भीतर फील कर पारुथाओ तुम भूत को डर अच्छी भूत को भाविक तुम डरी था पार कि डज इट हैव एनी सॉर्ट ऑफ ऑब्जेक्टिविटी किसी ना तेणु से गुड़ा तुम मन रख दीज आर ऑल मेटाफिजिकल कॉन्सेप्ट्स मेटाफिजिकल कॉन्सेप्ट तेणु पॉजिटिविस्ट मैंने एक्चुअली डिनाउंस द होल ऑफ ट्रेडिशनल फिलोसफी जो ट्रेडिशनल फिलोसफी आमर थिला बाय अटैकिंग मेटाफिजिक्स मेटाफिजिक्स वाज द मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट ब्रांच ऑफ फिलोसफी तेणु सेटा को से पूरा स्टार्टेड करदेले पॉजिटिविज्म सेटा हम कहया लॉजिकल पॉजिटिविज्म and it was started in the first half of 20th century 1920 मसीहा बेलू पाखापाखि it was started and the father of positivist I have told you Auguste Comte he has also तेणु अल्टीमेटली तुम युवा मन रख कीवर्ड गुड़ा सब जाए लिखि पक गोटे then it will be easier on your part before coming to the examination or writing in the examination घर खाली you remember some keywords जो कीवर्ड तुम मीनिंग बुझी थो आ प्रत्येक कीवर्ड को लेकिन तुम 10 धाड़ी लिखिपर तुम गोटे 30 धाड़ी 40 धाड़ी लिखिदे पार फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू अंडरस्टैंड you do not remember the sentences which are given in the book you forget it you remember the keywords actually एई पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन रो किए कौन कौन मेन जिनस से फोकस करछंती सेई जिनसर मीनिंग ता बुझो इन योर ओन लैंग्वेज यू कैन राइट यू कैन एक्सप्लेन तेणु से जब पर्टिकुलर तुमको जो मुझे कहली 3टा जिनस जो पॉजिटिव एमती 10टा तुम वर्ड मन रख साइंटिफिक ऑब्जर्वेशन लॉजिकल रीजनिंग एम्पिरिकल एविडेंस एकू तो बेस कर गोटे गोटे सेंटेंस लिखला बेलू हम विथ एग्जांपल दे दो तुम then definitely your answer will be appreciated by the examiner okay आज ପାଇଁ ତାହେଲେ ଏତିକି today okay anything else hello
Yes, sir.
Yes,
No,
sir.
sir. Thank you, sir.
okay next we don't have class tomorrow so you go through positivity it is very simple mane simple means very interesting positivist post positivism positive metaphysics theoretical all these things माने रियलिटी गोटे है रियल साइंस गोटे सुडो साइंस रियल माने जोटा एक्चुअली व्हिच कैन नॉट बी व्हिच इज सब्जेक्ट टू ओपन टू टेस्टिंग क्रिटिकल टेस्टिंग तेणु ऑलवेज रिमेम्बर तुम यहाँ देखो जे एक्चुअली जो आम पॉपर ही बिलीव्स इन डिडक्टिव इज हैविंग सम सेंस बट इंडक्टिव ही डज नॉट बिकॉज इंडक्टिव मीन्स यू आर टेकिंग सम सैंपल्स सपोज तुम ओडिशा रे देखिदेल अरे ओडिशा रे तो सब जिनस गुड़ाक एत ये अच्छी तुम अन्य गोटे स्टेट को गला बेलू तुम जो धारणा थो से भूल होगा माने कौन यू कैन नॉट इफ यू टेक ए जनरलाइज कंक्लूजन जनरलाइजेशन जदि नहीं थो डेफिनेटली दैट इज प्रूफ किंतु डिडक्टिव रे से कहउचंती इट कैन बी अप्लाइड फॉल्सिफिकेशन कैन बी अप्लाइड डिडक्टिव मेथड तुम कहउचो गोटे यू हैव टू फाइंड आउट द कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी ये तुमको जब पाइब ताहले तुम कर ऑलरेडी इट इज माने जनरलाइज थ्योरी तुम से स्पेसिफिक आणुच ଯେତେବେଳେ ଦେଖିବ ଯେ ତମେ ସେମିତି କୌଣସି ଗୋଟେ ଚଢ଼େଇ ଅଛି ଯେ ଉଡ଼ି ପାରୁନି, ତାହେଲେ ତମେ ୟୁ କ୍ୟାନ୍ କ୍ଲେମ୍ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ଦିସ୍ ଇଜ୍ ଫଲ୍ସିଫାଇଡ୍। ଆଉ ସେଇଟାକୁ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ସିଏ ଯଦି ଥିଓରିଟା ଫଲ୍ସିଫାଇଡ୍ ନ ହବ ତାହେଲେ ଦେୟାର ୱିଲ୍ ବି ନୋ ଡେଭଲପମେଣ୍ଟ, ସାଇନ୍ସ ୱିଲ୍ ନଟ୍ ପ୍ରୋଗ୍ରେସ୍। ତେଣୁ ସାଇନ୍ସ କରି ସିଏ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ସାଇଣ୍ଟିଫିକ୍ ରିଭଲ୍ୟୁସନ୍ ଯୋଉଟା ହବ ବି ତମର କେବଳ ଯଦି ଥିଓରିଟା ଫଲ୍ସିଫାଇ, ସାଇନ୍ସ ପ୍ରୋଗ୍ରେସ୍, when some theories are refuted, then another new theory will come up. ତେଣୁ ଏବେ ଯୋଉ ଥିଓରି ଗୋଟେ ଗୋଟେ ଗଲା ତାକୁ ପୁଣି ତମର ଯୋଉ ଇଏ ଉପରେ ଏଙ୍କର ଥିଓରି ଗ୍ରାଭିଟି ଥିଓରି, ଗ୍ରାଭିଟି ଉପରେ ପୁଣି ଏବେ କଣ ନୂଆ ନୂଆ ଥିଓରି ସବୁ ବାହାରିଲା। ଆଇ ଏମ୍ ନଟ୍ ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ ଅଫ ସାଇନ୍ସ, ଆଇ କ୍ୟାନଟ୍ ସେ ୟୁ ଏକ୍ଜାକ୍ଟଲି ହ୍ୱାଟ development has been made, but I have listened that ଯୋଉଟା ଆମେ କହିଥିଲେ ଯୋଉ theory of gravity, gravitational force, ତାର ଉପରେ ମଧ୍ୟ there is also a debate, and also scientists claim that it is not that what actually it was given earlier. ତେଣୁ ସେଇ ଜିନିଷ ଗୁଡାକ, ତେଣୁ once one theory is refuted, ତମେ ସେଟାକୁ ଦେଖେଇ ଦେଇପାରିବ, ସେଟା ତ ଥିଓରି ହେଇକି ରହିଯାଇଛି ଜେନେରାଲାଇଜ। ତମେ ତାର ଯଦି କଣ୍ଟ୍ରାଡିକ୍ଟୋରୀ ଭ୍ୟୁଟା ପାଇକି ଦେଖେଇଲ ଆରେ ଏଇଟା ନୁହଁ, ସେ ଯୋଉ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଆଉ ଅନ୍ୟ ଜିନିଷ ଯୋଉ ହଉଛି, ଦେନ୍ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଜ ରିଫ୍ୟୁଟେଡ୍, ଗଲା ସିଏ ତାରି ଉପରେ ଡେଭଲପ କରି ପୁଣି ନୂଆ ଆଗକୁ ଯିବେ, ଆଉ ନ୍ୟୁ ଥିଓରିଜ ୱିଲ୍ କମ୍ ଅପ୍। Okay, you remember that, so we have discussed three things. One is positivism, then post-positivism. In positivism, we have discussed Auguste Comte. In post-positivism, we have discussed Karl Popper, and also we have discussed Thomas Kuhn. Okay. So today, this much. Thank you. Again, we'll meet.
Yes, there are some new theories about gravity these days that are based upon the Einstein. Sorry, sir. Uh, like earlier, which theories are written by given by Einstein. So they are
Answer.
generally based on this.
Yes. There are some new theories have come up, and also definitely the old theory is being refuted by the scientists. Again, a new theories will come up, and again there will be progress according to them.
So
So whatever is being
that
accepted, we
they are
have.
now testing gravities on Rascal and modify gravity theories these days.
Yes. So that is there. Actually, what the theory is continue means when you are able to find out the contradictory evidences, then definitely that is end of that theory, and you will start again, and you will go ahead.
But they have to prove it that these are new and these are old. At the same time, they defines the gravity.
Yes. They have to. If they are not able to prove the contradictory, or the this is not due to this gravitational force, this happens due to this, then only they will be able to falsify that theory. Otherwise, it will continue. So therefore, Popper has faith in a deductive method because it is not so easy. But the inductive method actually cannot be relied upon because you are only taking some supporting samples also. On that basis, you are giving the general theory. So therefore, deductive approach is more reliable according to Popper than your inductive method. Okay. So thank you so much for listening to me, and then we shall meet in the next class. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good
Thank
night.
thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir. Good
Shubhratri.
night.
Thank you.
Sir, excuse me. Sir,
Tell me. Hello.
sir, methodological monogy means
Methodological monogism. ସେଇଟା ମେଥଡ଼ ସେଇଟା ଇଏ ଉପରେ ହଁ ମୁଁ କହିବି ତମର ଯାହା ଅଛି ଡାଉଟ୍ ଟେଲ୍ ମି ଆଇ ଏକ୍ସପ୍ଲେନ୍ ନେକ୍ସଟ କ୍ଲାସ୍ ଓକେ ମନ କହିବି ସେଇଟା ଅଛି ତିନିଟା ଜିନିଷ ଅଛି ତମେ ଦେଖିନିଅ ମେଥଡ଼ ଉପରେ ଯୋଉଟା ବେସ୍ କରି ଅଛି ମେଥଡ଼ୋଲୋଜିକାଲ ସାଇଣ୍ଟିଫିକ୍ ମେଥଡ଼ ସେଇଟା ବୁଝିବାକୁ ଟିକେ ଟାଇମ୍ ଲାଗିବ I will explain the next class first I will tell then I will okay methodological
So, sir, tomorrow we don't have class, sir.
day after tomorrow I am having class okay I think day after tomorrow